Hi everybody. I'd like to introduce to you this new instrument I just finished building. It's called removable neck mega TANPURA. Yes. As you see, here it is without the strings, and the reason why it doesn't have strings on it, it's quite mega, it's very big. The reason why it doesn't have strings on it is because I'm going to demonstrate for you the neck removal and the neck assembly process. Before that, I'll just explain a little bit about the instrument. I mean, the reason why it's so big, it's perhaps, I'm not sure, but perhaps the largest TANPURA ever made. It might be because normally the male vocal TANPURAs are the largest. They're larger than the female because they need to be deeper because the man has a deeper voice. But this instrument was commissioned from me by a vocalist in America who has a number of students there, and they like to sing in a particularly low tuning, like A or A sharp tuning. Whereas normally the Hindustani male vocal is somewhere between C and D, like a C sharp tuning. So you're looking at like a minor third or a major third, like lower, 4 semitones lower tuning. And that's a lot. So what we had to do was, they were having problems getting it, to hold to sound, to keep the sound and correct. It was going out of tune and the low notes. So what they tried to do was put thicker strings on it, like take a standard TANPURA and put thicker strings on it, and that just wasn't working out. And they had contacted all the TANPURA, all the Indian TANPURA makers, and none of them wanted to touch. None of them wanted to deviate from their normal way, the way they normally make them. Because they basically have they kind of mass produce them. So nobody wanted to customize or to mess around with the dimensions. So they contacted me and said, look, we need to solve this problem. So I suggested just to simply make it longer, to use standard TANPURA, same type of strings, because we know those strings sound good, right? So we use a standard TANPURA strings, but just make it longer. So that way we can achieve the lower tuning required. Then the problem came, with this extra length, of course, the problem of transporting the instrument and shipping it became an issue. I contacted the courier companies and the postal companies, and the cost of shipping that from Europe to America would have been about $2,000 or $3,000. Yeah. So we thought about that, and I came up with the idea to make it with a removable neck. So thereby, obviously, for shipping purposes, remove the neck, and you can fit it in a much smaller box, which would bring the shipping costs down to, hopefully I haven't shipped it yet, but I think it's going to end up costing just about $100 or $200 to ship it, So so I came up with the idea for the removable neck, and the guys agreed there. So here it is. So what I'm going to do is, it's quite easy to remove it and to install it. It's very easy. I'm just going to demonstrate. So this video is kind of like a demonstration video of the instrument, but it's also a demonstration for the client who's going to actually be following this video when he assembles it. So that part of the video is going to be a little bit technical, and hopefully it won't be too boring for you. But I'll just jump in and do it. So the front has a plate here, a wood plate, which is held on by 6 small little screws, and that has to be removed to access the big neck bolts which are inside. So here's one screw, get that one off, there we go, one, and two, See how quick this is? Lots of fun. Right? 3. Just get that off. Another interesting feature about this TANPURA is that I made the back, as you can sort of see, the back is normally a TANPURA is made with a pumpkin, like a sitar, like a huge pumpkin. But I suggested, primarily because I've never actually made an instrument with a pumpkin, and we don't have any pumpkins around here. So I suggested that to make it like an oud back, as I do with my wood sarrodes. You know, like I make the backs with bent strips of very thin wood, like a lute, like an oud, and that gives the back. And the advantage of that, I mean, of course, sonically, I mean, it's a tried and true method. They sound great, right? And the advantage also is that you see how also beautiful it is. But it's, you know, I mean, like with pumpkins, you just drop it once and it's cracked. You know, it's finished, right? But this is very much more. And I put these little decorative strips there and blah blah blah. Yeah. Anyway, so that's more solid, more strong. So here we got the cap here, the front cap. We just open that. This removes, and inside there, if you can see that, there are some bolts. Okay, 4 bolts. I don't know how well you can see that. Here we go. 4 bolts, and I'm just going to loosen them. Here we go. You can see just the first one here. Oops. Loosen. Oh, loosen, not tighten. Loosen. There we go. I've never done this kind of stuff on camera, so I was a little bit clumsy. So just loosen them off. That's the first one. This is like just a 17mm, like a regular box wrench, actually. And here's the next one. Just loosen it off. Second one. Okay, I'm going to do this like this because it's a little bit easier. And get the third one in there. Just loosen that. Okay, now that they're all loosened off, I just reach in with my hand and I start just turning it away there. You really can't see this, but I can probably show you like this. I'm just turning with my hand. Don't drop it, like you're kind of turning it, and of course if you put it on your lap, it's, there we go, now it's coming out. Okay, that's the first bolt out. Second one. Now I'm going to put this on my lap and probably pause the video here. Yeah. Okay. Now I still have one more screw in here. I'm just going to get that last one out. Screw, bolt. That's the correct term, is a bolt. So just kind of get that out by hand. There it is. It's loose. And I'm just going to put that on my fingers. There we go. The last one. And voila. The neck comes off. You see, I used that little tongue. This piece can come out also. This piece is a piece of wood. And that way you can slip it into the slot there. And it holds it somewhat, somewhat stable for you as you get the bolts back in. Okay, so that's it. This is the 2 pieces. Here's the body. Right? There's the body. And here is the neck. 2 pieces. So now what I'm going to do is assemble it and show you how that's done. Hey, so basically, it's pretty easy. Just grab the body, grab the neck, slip it on like that, and the kind of trick to this is you want to be able to kind of hold it like this, so you're feeling with your fingers here, feeling that it should be flush, right? Should be flush on the back. The front doesn't really matter, but make sure it's flush on the back, so you feel that with these fingers, right? Feeling how flush it is, and then with your thumbs you can kind of push it, or kind of get it, move it front ways, backwards. You see how I'm doing that? Front ways, backwards. So you want to continuously be making sure it's flush. So once it's assembled, you have a nice, smooth transition. So now we'll take the first one. Okay. Now, this is going to be tricky doing this on camera, but anyway, so you get the first one, your hand like that, you've got a washer here. Stick it in, down like this, okay? Like, grab it by the threads, put it through the gap there, and then get it into the lower hole. Get it into the lower hole and feed it up. There we go. Feeding it up. This is easier when I do it on my lap, but for the camera I gotta do it like this. Okay, blah blah blah. There it is. All the way up. Okay, now the trick is you kind of have to spin the screw and hopefully it goes into the threads. So there we go, I'm turning it and yeah, it grabbed. You can kind of see if it doesn't just come down again. It stays in there while you're turning, then it's grabbed the threads. Okay, so you get the first one on there by hand, and if it's a little bit tight, you can kind of just jiggle the thing and the whole thing, and it goes in there. Okay, so that's the first one in pretty much all the way up. This is kind of like working on my old Volkswagen a little bit. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Get the second one. Here we go. The second one, and we do the same thing. So I'm putting it in there. There are four. Two of them are lower and two of them are upper. So we start with the lower ones first, right? So I got the first lower one, and I'm going to get the second one. There we go. Slide her up there and start turning. You want to get it to grab, and it's already grabbed. Very nice. This one's going in real smoothly. Just crank her away there. Here we go. Right, all the way in. Turn. See how quick this is? I mean, like, really, theoretically, a touring musician could actually tour with this instrument, because it really doesn't take that long to assemble and disassemble the neck. So there we go. That's pretty much all the way in. This one also. Now the third one. Okay, so here's where it gets a little tiny bit tricky here. Not this one. So this one's still not tricky. So now I'm going to do the upper one on this side. Okay. Just in there. Slide her up. Up she goes into the slot and turning and grab those threads and yep, grabbed immediately. So that's all good. That's all good. Come on, go in there. Yeah, I mean it could be used as a touring. Why not? You know, if you got a world tour and you're playing concerts, singing concerts all around the world, and you want to travel with a mega TANPURA, then do this. So that one right. This last one is a tiny bit tricky, because you see there are these little strips of wood here on the side here, which are necessary for providing like screw holes for this. This last one is a little bit tight. It normally wouldn't be like this, but honestly, this is like a prototype. This is the first I ever made of this instrument. So this is one of the little idiosyncrasies of this one. It's not a big deal. But what you got to do here is, because it's a little bit tight on that side, on the upper one, you see you have the washer. Okay, so get the washer. Okay, so pay attention to this part. Here's the washer, here's the bolt, and the washer is up there. okay? And I'm holding it like that with just about a centimeter, half an inch or so of the threads. Shall we? Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the bottom part of the bolt inside and then feed this hole, this threaded part into the hole, okay? Watch. Bottom part in. Now feed that threaded part into the hole and get her up there. No big deal. It's just that that washer is pretty big, and it's if you don't like keep the washer at the upper part, it kind of gets blocked there and won't go up. It's no big deal. So there we go. I'm getting this in there, and as I'm turning this, it has grabbed the threads nicely, and we're in business. Okay. Just turn. How do you like the painting behind me? This is like a Canadian Indian art that I actually painted myself. Copied that painting. Who cares, right? Okay, so where's the wrench? So now that I got to that point, they're pretty close to being attached. By the way, I mean, if you're only interested in watching the video for the TANPURA part, you can maybe skip forward a little bit, because this is kind of technical. So jump ahead 2 minutes or whatever, because at the end of the video I'm going to actually play this mega TANPURA, which has an incredible sound. Okay, so here we go. Tighten her up. In fact, I'm going to pause it, and I'm just going to get all of these. I mean, once you've got them all in there, what you want to do is get all of them with the wrench, the 17mm wrench. You want to get them all snug up there. Well, not really snug, just a little bit below snug, because you still want it loose enough so you can move the neck, you can adjust the position of the neck. So remember, it needs to be smooth at the back. You don't want any like lips, like hangovers in the gap. So what you do is you just tighten them so you just get resistance, and then back it off so you're before resistance, so it's still loose. Okay, so that's what you do. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so I just finished tweaking the bolts to the correct tightness for now, which means that just tighten them up until you reach snug, until you reach the resistance, and then back it off a little bit. Okay, so they're loose, but they're very close to that tightening point. The reason why you want to do that is because you want to, okay, with these fingers, you're feeling the back here, the connection point between the body and the neck. You want to feel that, and you want to just, with your thumbs, like with these fingers, you kind of grab the instrument, grab the back of the neck, and with your thumbs, you can kind of push the neck itself outwards. Okay, so you're pushing like this. So the neck is kind of going that way, and the body needs to go a bit this way. So you're kind of aligning the neck and the body, okay, with your hands like this. So what it needs to happen is you need to kind of push a little bit with your thumbs, and I'm pulling in with my fingertips and feeling there, and it doesn't take much. It's good. It feels a little bit of pushing there. Just kind of push it, and you're feeling there, and good. Yeah, doesn't take much. Good. So once you're satisfied and it feels good, kind of hold it there with this hand, a little downward pressure, and reach in with your spanner and just slightly snug these bolts up, starting with the top ones. So just snug a little bit. That's the first one. Second one. Snug. Don't reef on it. Don't go nuts. Here's the third one. Just snug it up, and then it's not going to move. Okay, just snug. Meet resistance, and then give it a tiny little bit. Here's resistance, and then just a little bit, okay? Feel it again, and perfect. Very nice, very smooth transition. You know, that's nice. Okay, so once you've done that, then you give it the final tightening, which is basically get it on there and kind of grab it with this hand and, you know, with some force and just about like that, you know. Like I'm not gonna like clamp this to the table and then like, you know, no. But you want a significant, but don't overdo it because it can, yeah, it can break stuff. So again, we'll get the next one. So again, I'm just grabbing with my hand here and kind of putting my elbow in here and just, you know, maybe a bit more than that. Let's see here, just a little bit more. Okay, so you know, you get that. It's a bit of a push, but not too much. Okay. Okay, last one here. Oops. Okay, third one. Okay, so that's it, and of course we just take the plate here, put the plate on there and put in those 6 screws and you're done. Of course, you have to put the strings on, of course. So that's it. I'm going to string her up and play a little bit for the final part of the video, so hang tight. Thanks.